Okay.
There's really no substitute for performing in front of a real audience. It's like, here, I did this. What do you guys think, you know? You want to buy it? You want to look at it? You want to listen to it?
To me, this is a real cultural oasis at a time when funding is drying up. This is a home for poets, dancers, filmmakers, video artists. It fills a need for a lot of artists.
The Knitting Factory kind of sprung onto the map because it had a bit of a vision and a community based around it. It's really important to have a place where you can be hanging out and talking about music, talking about ideas, and it's important to have that community sense so that you have support.
Factory never typecast itself. It said, we're going to put on punk rock one night, we're going to put on jazz one night, we're going to have dance performance another night, we're going to have a silent movie with a brand new soundtrack, and it's all going to be interesting, and most of it will be good, and the stuff that isn't good is going to be fascinating anyway.
Yeah, it's getting closer. I didn't know that.
When we opened up the Knitting Factory, February of 1987, the artistic community was hungry for an alternative performance space where they could experiment. So when we came in, this huge tsunami of talent came our way. Anything that was on the fringe that wasn't getting the support really all came to the Knitting Factory very quickly.
The late 80s were a time when you had jazz innovators who had been doing important music for 10 and 20 years. Meanwhile, you had alternative rock burgeoning, and so both of these fringe things found a place at the Knitting Factory.
The Knitting Factory, especially in the old building, was kind of like my neighborhood bar, you know. I mean, I met my friends and my girlfriends. The Knitting Factory in general gave a lot of people a chance to develop audiences. And a lot of us heard each other, which was really good.
The direction that the Knitting Factory has taken has generated a lot of experimentation, a lot of new groups, trios, and quartets that wouldn't have existed if they didn't have a place that was saying, like, hey, what do you got, you know?
Makes the dance series important is that we can basically open it to anyone doing any kind of dance, and it's sort of not who you know or whose work you like. It's just kind of a place to show and develop work, because until you actually stand up in front of an audience, the work isn't really complete in some way, because you always learn a lot whenever you perform.
From the water cooler cronyism to the name-dropping nepotism of the company picnic, where my cubicle comrades scratch their silver gonads and with matching spoon grease down on June fried chicken, licking their digits and chanting all hail the email and telling tall tales of Mac Daddy Microsoft and Mega Pac-Man mergers. While I'm stuck under a ceiling of glass, wishing I could click and drag my ass past the double standards, past your credit to your race, past the economics of trickle down, wishing I had a nickel for every clown who slapped me 5.
I get a charge every week being a host of the poetry series because every week I don't know what to expect. I don't know who's going to walk in and bring their thing. It's just a slew of poets all over New York, and I'm booked up 6 months ahead, you know, so there's a lot of people who want the opportunity, and I try to extend it to as many people as I can.
Rock and roll bands have CBGBs, they have Mercury Lounge, Fez. But the Knitting Factory has, I think, a larger type of unknown musician gets to play here, don't you think?
Yeah, which is great. You know, it's not just the next new band to be signed to the next new little label. They've got a much bigger picture.
It's always a juggle. You have art on one hand and money on the other. And to try and find a balance between the two is what our job is. By having different rooms, we can have a concert in the main room that is going to bring in people. And in the other room, we can put on music that is based more on the aesthetics than on the commerciality. And then in the third room, have something else going on and create an atmosphere for even more fertile experimentation.
The avant-garde, the word is, I guess, tied to the idea of progress in art. There's always something out in front. But I think what we're talking about more is the radical edge, things that don't fit into commercial structures, make the top 40 or fill Carnegie Hall. Pop culture is this big amoeba-like blob that keeps sort of soaking up what's at the margins, so the margins have to move further away. The blob gets them. It's a constant process. So I don't know if the avant-garde, you know, as this shock troops of the new, is as much a useful concept as there needing to be a radical edge where people can still try things.
Welcome back to The Week in Rock. For more than a dozen years, New York's annual New Music Seminar drew musicians, talent scouts, and hangers-on from all over the world to Manhattan for a week of parties, panels, and nonstop live performances all around town. The seminar bit the dust last year, a victim of its own unwieldy success and flagging public interest. But now Apple Computer has resurrected the heart of the seminar, the scores of live new band showcases, added online involvement, and dispensed with the hot air component of endless speeches and bickering panels. It was called the Macintosh New York Music Festival, and there were no star bands. What a notion. Take a look.
A network of New York's rock clubs and computers played host to the first ever Macintosh Music Festival, which promised a week of 360 bands and a worldwide website with just one pass.
They have computers everywhere. They have a computer over there. I don't know quite why, but it seems interesting now.
While some of the bands may not have known exactly what was going on, the Macintosh Music Festival tried to replace the now defunct New Music Seminar by bringing the week-long gathering of bands, fans, and industry types online as well as on stage. By linking the clubs together via computers, not only could attendees download information on bands and see what was happening live at another club, wired individuals around the world could participate as well.
What we're looking at right now is Irving Plaza live. This is the Knitting Factory stage with Laurie Anderson. She's showing part of her CD-ROM right now. Here's a list of all the 360 bands that are playing. We can click on any band, then check out a picture, a whole bio of the band.
There's 32 tribes, right? Right? Isn't that amazing?
The other 13 clubs in the festival are going out with QuickTime images, which are just photos going up every half hour, and text being written by a bunch of reporters.
Basically, at the festival, I've been reviewing shows. This is the third night I've been posting for SonicNet. What I reported on tonight was Degeneration. Joey Ramone's coming on on next, so that's the biggest band. Those are the main headliners for tonight, and it's pretty packed in there.
Yeah, so don't be scared, 'cause I'll be there. Don't be scared at all.
From my end of it, I think that the festival has been a tremendous success. I mean, getting an email from someone in Singapore, whether or not we sell out every venue and whether or not, you know, all the bands are happy, the fact is that there's somebody who's sitting on the other side of the world who now has tasted, you know, for a moment what the magic of our festival is all about. And that to me is just, yeah, total success.
Hi, I'm Dean. And I'm Glenn from Toe the Wet Sprocket, and we're here for a special edition of Darcy's Music. We're broadcasting today from Tribeca, downtown New York, at the Knitting Factory, home of such greats as John Zorn, who's given you such lyrics as... It's true.
It is true.
It is true.
You know, the Indigo Girls played their first New York shows here, and Sonic Youth has been known to be haunting these walls quite frequently.
Wir wollen unser Publikum fragen, wie es Jazz definiert. Und das Was ist Jazz Festival bietet alles. Von Acid Jazz bis zu improvisierter Musik. Bis zu Sachen, von denen viele sagen würden, das ist doch gar kein Jazz. Wie zum Beispiel der japanische Gitarrist, der gerade oben in der Bar spielt.
Jinmo heißt er, der Mann aus Yokohama.
Der Club hier in New York ist unsere Basis. Er ist wie ein Labor für Musik, aber nicht nur, auch für Tanz, Film, Dichtung und so weiter. Aber immer ein Labor, in dem man wirklich experimentieren kann.
Stilgrenzen spielen in der Knitting Factory keine Rolle. Die Knitting Factory, vielleicht New Yorks innovativste Jazzkneipe. Also was ist denn nun Jazz?
I don't know. I wouldn't try and answer that.
The future of music? Well, maybe. Is this one of the most highly publicized interactive entertainment events in history? Absolutely.
With hundreds of bands, over a dozen New York City clubs, and an extremely active site on the World Wide Web, this festival is probably the most ambitious interactive music event to date.
On today's program, we'll take you to the electronic epicenter of the Macintosh New York Music Festival, and we'll talk to one of the event's founders. Just another rock show at a New York City club? Not exactly. This band and 300 more performed in July as part of the first Macintosh New York Music Festival. No ordinary festival. This was billed as the first interactive online music festival.
For us, this is really the first music festival of the digital era. This is where